Oh, it's got a really bad back from all these firm riding crossovers, but this is the new C3 and Citroen says it's the antidote. And today we're going to find out. Yes, the Citroen C3 has evolved from a Ford Fiesta rivaling hatchback to a taller riding alternative to crossovers like the Ford Puma. Promising comfort, style and exceptional value for money, the new C3 costs from just £17,790, which is a staggering £8,000 less than its main rival from Ford, meaning for anyone wanting a small SUV, it could very well be about to become your next car, especially when models land on cinch and offer even greater value for money, like these motors here. Now, I must confess, I was quite concerned when I saw the first pictures of this car because I used to run a C3 hatchback and I loved the quirky hatchback vibe that thing had. And this thing is a crossover in its design, but in the metal, it looks great. I love this shade of blue. It's a Monte Carlo blue with the white roof. And it's also the first car to get the Citroen Ollie design. Now, we saw that car last year. I even stood on the roof of it. And now we got this new look, and this is going to inspire other Citroens coming soon. And same goes for this badge. This is a new logo, and it looks really good in the metal. All of this car just feels funky and French. I like these headlights here. I really like the little flashes of color. And then on the side of the car, if you follow me, it's trying to be an SUV, but rest assured that this is front-wheel drive. You've got relatively small wheels, but the body shape is nice and squared off, and that bodes very well for room, which we will show you in a little bit. And at the back here, it is a massively squared off rear end. It is again Citroen Ollie vibe, same with the taillights. And as you can see, you've got a big amount of space. It means loading into the boot should be good and easy. Now the boot is obviously very important, and it has gained in size by 10 litres versus the old C3, not surprisingly, because we've gained all this space up here, but crucially, we haven't lost space down here. So this bag here, this bright yellow Pelly case of Jamil's, is the size, the biggest size you can take on a plane and take into the cabin. And it fits in here with a load of room around it. And just to confirm, if you are thinking, well, is there any space underneath like there is in a Ford Puma? I have to say the answer is not much. There is a bit of a tool bag space down there. It's where a spare wheel would go in other markets, but it doesn't get that secret storage area that you get in a Puma. But at least you have got a lot of space up top here. Plus, if you need more, you can fold that back bench down in 2 halves. Wow, look how much room I have to climb into the back of the car. It's really spacious, and yeah, that carries on in headroom as well. This roofline really shames the roofline of the Ford Puma, which of course is much more expensive. And that carries into the rest of the rear. I just feel like I have plenty of space. And then if you look down there, I can tuck my toes and my feet right under the seat ahead. And that's because this comes higher than it used to. So I've got loads of room. I can almost get my legs straight in the back of this little C3. Plus, I'm not short of storage space either. I've got very generous door bins. I've got a cup holder in the middle there. And then I've even got 2 USB-C ports. And yeah, okay, there is a 12-volt plug down there. Bit of cost cutting, I reckon, because you share that with the front passengers, but that's okay. This is a cheap car. Should we check out what the middle seat is like? Because I have a feeling it's all right. Yeah, it is, because there's so much headroom. Even when I'm sat on this elevated position, I've got a good amount of space above me, and I can feel that this entire rear bench, both on the back of it and underneath me, has this lovely squidgy foam. So the car is very, very comfortable. Honestly, this is a really nice place to sit. And that spacious feeling carries on with generous reserves in the front seats. And I say that because check out how much headroom I've got up here. Obviously, I'm sitting in the lowest setting, but I'm not that short, thank you very much. And it feels really airy everywhere else as well. I mean, the dash is nice and pushed back, and you've got plenty of storage space. A couple of generous cup holders down here. You've got a wireless charging mat in this model, and then the door bins as well are really, really big. Plus, in this left-hand drive car, the glove box isn't bad either, although we'll have to wait till we get a right-hand drive car in Britain to see if that carries through for a UK car. And I have to say, I love the simplicity of this infotainment system. It's a no-frills approach to technology, but it works, and especially when you're on the move, and that's what matters. Because firstly, it's nice and quick to react, and secondly, it's just simple to go through the menus, and that's what you want. Plus, you've got wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, so it's easy, no wires needed, and you can even charge your phone on that wireless mat down there. So I like the infotainment system, even if it doesn't make me very excited. I have to also say that while there is only a touchscreen volume control here, which is a bit annoying, I wish they had a twisty knob somewhere, at least it's on screen all of the time. Plus, you also have a volume control on the steering wheel if you prefer that, like we all do. I also like the fact that the climate control is not in the infotainment system, by the way, as well. You can actually use proper buttons. It's not the best climate control system because it doesn't have dual zone, but the buttons couldn't be any simpler to use. So it means you just don't have to think about stuff. There's comfort in this car, both in the way that you feel when you're behind the wheel, but also in just how little you have to think. And then I like the fact that you've got this digital display up here for your instrument cluster. It kind of does the job of an instrument cluster and a HUD head-up display, because it's right in your eye line. So it's clear, it's crisp, again, no frills, but it works. So overall, up front, it's a nice place to be. And if you're having a bit of a bad day, maybe you're stuck in traffic, you can always look down at the little labels on the doors, which give you a bit of a boost. This one says have fun, and that one says be cool. Oh yeah, this definitely feels like the comfortable car it promises to be, not least because as soon as you step onto these seats, it feels like you're sitting on an armchair. All right, not my favorite type of armchair because it has got these slightly elevated sections around the side, so it doesn't hug you or squeeze you in the same way, but very comfy. And you know what? That comfortable interior vibe definitely seems, on initial impressions, to be translating into the way this thing rides down a road. I know the Ford Puma, this car's arch rival, very well, and that car, as fun as it is, can get a little bit tiring on longer journeys, but this C3, with its special suspension setup, which we'll explain in just a moment, definitely seems to go down the road and absorb bumps, absorb drain covers, and absorb potholes and even speed humps very well indeed. This is the most comfortable car in this class, and I'll tell you why now. Now, firstly, they've kept it pretty simple by giving you a relatively small wheel. These are 17s, but they've got a thick tyre, and the tyre can act like a bit of suspension. But then behind that, you've got the best bit, which is a damping system, which features a hydraulic bump stop. Normally, you've got a mechanical bump stop, so when it gets hit, it does that. But in these, it absorbs the impact and dissipates it, meaning you don't get shaken around. But you might be thinking all of that comfort has come at the complete cost of fun. And of course, you might want a little bit of fun to go with your crossover, but thankfully, the 1.2 litre petrol engine in this car has a turbocharger, and it comes with a 6-speed gearbox, which is pretty good actually. It's a manual gearbox and it's quite nice to use. Plus this engine is punchy. I'll prove it to you. Picks up nice and smooth and revs quite high as well. And the car feels, you can feel it rocking back and forth as you accelerate and change gear, because it is really getting up and going. This thing isn't gonna set your hair on fire, but it's more than adequate to give you a bit of a grin when you're driving onto a motorway. And now we're on a twisty section of Austrian road, and I can confirm that this car continues to feel very comfortable, but it actually isn't too bad around the bends. The Puma really does feel like a little hot hatch at points. This doesn't feel that way at all, as you can tell by the fact that I'm going to fall out the window if I keep driving like this. Do you know what though? It went round the bend all right, and it didn't understeer. It actually gripped and went round. So as far as what the tyres are doing, it's gripping the road really well, really confidently. So if you arrive into a bend too quickly, you're going to go round it, but you will just find yourself going a bit like that. And we've just spotted there are no grab handles. So yeah, good core workout.
Joining the petrol 1.2 litre model in the C3 lineup will be a self-charging automatic hybrid version that Citroen reckons can handle 50% of urban driving in purely electric mode, and we'll get to test it later this year. Additionally, EV buyers are already offered a fully electric EC3 model, which starts at under 22 grand and has a claimed 199 mile range to go with punchy performance. Our test revealed that it does have a very slightly firmer ride thanks to its extra weight, and it also loses a little when it comes to rear seat legroom, thanks to the battery being in the floor below. But with a sub 22 grand starting price, it's a tremendously great value electric offering that I enjoyed driving, and prices will go even lower still when a 124 mile range version is launched in 2025, making for a pretty comprehensive C3 selection to choose from. So, which of that lot would I go for?
Well, the answer to that is predictably simple. If you live in an urban environment or you don't do tons of miles every day, the electric C3, this C3 is a great value offering, and it really has opened up the electric market in this segment. But for everybody else, I would definitely recommend the petrol C3 because it's slightly lighter, that engine is lovely and refined, and you have a really, really good ride. Because it's lighter on its toes, it just smothers the road out brilliantly. And it makes the Ford Puma, as excellent and fun as that is, feel a little bit firm riding, especially in town. Although I actually think that the hybrid model coming out very soon, and make sure you're subscribed for our review of that, well, I think that could offer the best of both worlds. But if you're not sold on any of them, well, check out these small SUVs up here, because they're all very interesting.